Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 20th, 2012 Town Council meeting, workshop. We will begin, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy first day of summer to everyone. I think it's going to be summer in like 20 minutes, so although it feels like it already. I will entertain a motion on the non-public session we just had. Councilor Branch.
I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-publics that we just had.
Second. Motion is second. Discussion? If not, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Wright?
Aye.
Council Levy?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Zink?
Aye.
Council Carmichael?
Aye.
Council Bentley?
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Just so everyone is aware, we are not going to have item 5, the discussion decision on use of auto gas in the police cruiser. Chief Sear is on vacation right now, and it just wouldn't be right to have that conversation without him present. Councilor Branch.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the amended agenda for this evening.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Wright?
Aye.
Council Levy?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Zink?
Aye.
Council Carmichael?
Aye.
Council Bentley?
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro?
Aye, motion passes 7-0. The first item on the agenda is the public hearing on Resolution 2011-12-30, allocating $380,173 from the open space bond to contribute towards the purchase of land for a new school. I have to read this, don't I?
Yes.
Awesome. Where is the actual document? Here we go. Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, by the Newmarket Town Council, resolution number 2011-2012-30, allocating $380,173 from the open space bond to contribute towards the purchase of land for a new school. Whereas the Town of Newmarket established the Town Open Space Fund to acquire land in the Town of Newmarket for, quote, public purposes, unquote, including, quote, future recreational and school facility needs, unquote, on May 14th, 2002. And whereas the Newmarket School District has agreed to purchase properties located at 216, 218, 220, and 204.5 South Main Street for school and recreational purposes using $959,827 of school district funds and $380,173 of town open space funds. And whereas the Town of Newmarket has $383,173 available in its open space fund to support the Newmarket School District's purchase of the properties. And whereas the Newmarket School District has agreed to return the town's share of the cost to acquire the properties in the event the properties are not needed for future recreational or school facility needs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Newmarket Town Council hereby approve the release of $380,173 of open space funds to the Newmarket School District to purchase the properties and authorizes the town administrator to enter in an agreement on behalf of the town to secure the use of the town's open space funds for such purposes. Given at the Town Council Chambers this 20th day of June in the year of our Lord 2012. Public hearing.
Good evening, everyone. Roseanne Cox, Wadley Falls Road, Newmarket. There is going to be, out of the $380,000, if they don't end up building a school there and using it, how much of that do we get back?
It would, yeah, I'll give you the exact amount here. It is the exact percentage that this amount is of the entire purchase cost, which is 28.37%. Yes, there it is, 28.37%.
Okay. Now, as you know, when you have a warrant article approved and there's a certain money appropriated in that warrant article, that money in that warrant article as approved can be used only for what it's stated in the warrant article. Therefore, if you give $380,000 and change to the school to be used for open space / school facilities, as was in the parentheses, and they do not build, they cannot keep any other portion of that money. They have to return the full amount. Because, say they return $300,000, just to keep the math simple, and we gave them $380,000. They are now keeping $80,000 out of a warrant article that stated definitively that the money was to be used only for open space. Now, they've got that $80,000 in their coffers. We don't know what they're using it for. So therefore, whatever money they keep over and above that 380 is in violation of the warrant article. And they purchased the money over, the property over assessed value. And, I mean, anyone who's done a budget or anything knows that to be a fact. They cannot keep, they have to return 380, 173 if they don't build. Period. They can't keep a penny more. It'd be in violation of the language as approved by the legislative body when that warrant article was approved. Okay?
Thank you. Any other public comment? I should have had you say your name and address, Roseanne.
She did.
Oh.
William Foster, Langs Lane. I guess a question, the validity of the new resolution. As far as I know, the warrant article has been passed by the town. Originally, the town council wanted it to go to public to find out what to do with that situation. Do we want to transfer money out of the open space? Now you've come back and kind of changed what the original intent of that warrant article was to hand over $380,000. I agree that the board, the council is behind it, but now you're kind of putting stipulations on what the school can do with that money. I'm just questioning whether or not, if it's even legal. I mean, you're basically changing what a warrant article originally said and was voted on by the majority of the town. It passed unanimously for you to hand the money over. After that, it's a moot point of what the school does with it, as far as I can kind of understand. So I'm just trying to figure out what the validity of that entire resolution is and all the language when you already had public hearings, deliberative sessions, a town vote. It was voted, passed, and now we're back here again. So I'm just a little confused on what that all is entitled in the whole process, because it doesn't make sense to me when the entire town has already voted on giving the money over, and now the town council is telling, well, only if you use it a certain way. Well, you've turned it over already. I mean, the town has said give the money to the school. So if they decide to build a 70-foot high-rise and turn it into a big giant bank parking lot, that's their choice. Obviously, that's not what they want to do. They're a school. They want to use it for school, something to do with the school. So I just don't understand the whole process, and I'm hoping somebody up here can kind of fill me in and understand why we're back here again. It doesn't make sense.
I, for one, am also tired of having the same conversation 8 times. Not this here, but talking about this again. This is, so the way the warrant article is written, and please forgive me, I don't remember exactly, was for the purchase of the
verbatim
land.
either.
It was for the purchase of the land. So it didn't really specify inside the warrant article where the funding sources were going to come from, as I recall the school warrant article. Now, the school understood that the council at that time had said, yes, we would release the open space funds for it should the warrant article pass, which was the discussion. All we're doing now is, one, we have to have a resolution to actually release that money now. Now that it has passed, there has to be a resolution. And the language around the 28.73% is because we want to make sure that the money that's coming from the open space funds, should, for whatever reason, a school not be built there, is retained for the open space fund purposes that the original warrant article that created the open space funds were for in the first
Wasn't that
place.
already language in that warrant article to begin with? The school can only do purchase land or use it for facilities.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what the
We're
warrant
not-
article
we're
already
not-
says. So it was a lot of work on your part. It was a lot of work on lawyers' parts. It's a lot of work on the school board coming back and forth
Yeah.
for language that was already voted on and done. That's where I'm kind of
Yeah,
a little
this-
frustrated with the whole process, I
Yep,
guess.
I assure you the process has not been the smoothest. Well aware of that. This is not to tell the school what they can do. This is for whatever reason, should that property not go to a school, to ensure that the open space money still is going to open space causes post that. So either the money comes back to the town to go in the open space fund, or a portion, that percentage of the land that's worth that amount would go to become open space. But in some way, the open space fund money is still used with the intent of the original warrant article from 90 whatever, when the open space fund was actually created. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's the first part. My second part, is there a time frame?
For what?
for the usage of the land, let's, please, I know some board members are in here, and I'm speaking out of turn because my wife is on the board, and she hates it when I get up here and speak.
She's nodding. Just so the people at home know that.
Just left.
Everybody keeps talking about a school being built. We're back and forth on stratum, we're back and forth on all kinds of stuff. There is no end result because we're spending a lot of time looking at a lot of options when we really have two. We have some space here. We could either build a school or we can renovate. And I'm going way off tangent here, but what if nothing actually comes of it and the school has that land sitting on it 5, 6, 10 years? God forbid, I don't want that to happen. I have kids in the school system. But after 10 years, is anybody in the public going to sit there and go, you know what, the school isn't using it for any kind of school facilities. Its grass is 15 feet tall, all they're doing is hay baling. Maybe they should give the money back. Is there any stipulations with that at all? Is there any time frame where somebody can come in and say, you know what, it's been a while?
There is no time frame in this.
Okay, all right.
Just said if it's sold, it'll be 28.37% of the total price or 28.37% of the acreage would come back.
If it's sitting there for 10 years, it's up to the
there's
public
no
to go to the
timeframe.
school board and have a conversation, not to us.
And then finally, I guess my other question is does the school have the right on picking how much money, that 380,000 goes to what parcel? Because we're talking about several different parcels of land
Yeah, there is nothing in this that specifies.
that tells them they can only purchase 380 with this
Yeah.
parcel, and then the rest can go there. So they can do
Yep.
any parcel with, okay. Thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Porterata? No worries. We're not going anywhere, so.
Ed Porterata, 177 Exeter Road, Newmarket, longtime resident. Okay, the issue here is we buy the land because we wish to build a school. Now, I know the state, you listen to the state, you don't know what's happening, whether they're going to give some money, not give it. I think there's going to be a lot of problems with the state because if they don't come up with another way to get money to give it back to the town, there ain't going to be any. What I have in mind is that, say that land's there, how long is the tenant going to stay there? Once it's completed, sold to the school, how long are they going to stay on that land?
That is a great question for the school board.
And who's going to get the rent from that land, or is it going to be rental? If they stay on that land, are they going to pay rent?
That's a really good question. I don't know if the
Who's
superintendent
going to
or
get
the school board.
who's going to get the money?
Obviously, they will pay rent. I don't know there's no percentage broken down in this agreement as to who gets the money.
And then so nothing comes out of it,
Yeah.
say for instance, the classes get smaller so that
Yep.
it wouldn't be even feasible to build a school. And by luck, some of these other schools are going to have a lot of kids missing or downgraded, that they would probably get there. Because sometimes a larger school is good too, because you get different things. But say nothing happened, and somebody comes along and wants to buy the land. Who's going to get the money? Well, part of it, the school paid for it.
Yes,
What
the
about
way,
that other part?
the way this is written is that we would get the percentage of the, I'm sorry, we're one community. The town would get 28.73%, which is the portion of the purchase money that came from the open space fund.
Good. What I'd like to know is that the insurance company, say that it's there for 3, 4 years, 2 years. Is the insurance company going to stay there? Is Carpenter going to stay there? And they're going to pay rent? Are we going to know what's going on?
Again, this is a great questions that would be fit at the school board meeting, because that is, the school is actually the one.
Can that made public? Say they're getting, I'm going to probably go too far. Say they're getting probably $3,000 or $4,000 a month or more rent a month. That'll go into the school coffers, to the school, right?
Yes, which is again why I'm going to say, I'm not trying to, it's not the town council. These are school board questions that the superintendent and the school board can handle at a school board meeting. And as much as they're there and if it takes less than 2 minutes, you give Mr. Porterata an answer because I think he deserves it, but I don't want to turn this into a school board
Well, I
meeting.
know, but you can't answer that, but we'd like to know somewhere in the future anyway, you know what I mean? Because look, we're in the problem with land across the railroad tracks, we don't know what we're gonna do with it. We keep buying land all the time, and when we're stuck with it. Somebody is anyway. I probably won't be around to see it, but I'm gonna try to stick around anyway, find out the end.
I hope you do, sir. I hope you do. Superintendent Hayes.
Jim Hayes, Superintendent of Schools. First I want to do is thank you folks for bringing this forward tonight. We are still on track to have passed papers on July 12th, so it's really important that all the steps be taken so that the money's there at the time we're meeting to pass the papers. The only other thing relative to that question in terms of the leases, both of them are 2-year leases with the ability to roll over, but also the ability for the tenants to leave at any time. And the rental amounts for Perkins is $1 a year, and for Carpenter is $1,000 a year.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment at 7:18. Councillor Bentley.
We take any motions for this? I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2011/2012-30, allocating $380,173 from open space bond, contribute to as a purchase land for a new school.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion? Councillor Levy.
Yeah. I brought it up at the last meeting, so I just thought I'd put it on the record. At this meeting, I would say, and that was the first time I had seen the percentage, but I would advocate that it should be the same amount of money that we paid, or that we put toward it. You know, as has been stated, it was paid, that was over the assessed value, so I would feel more comfortable voting for it if it was not a percentage, and it was the actual dollar amount that we have contributed. So that's just my opinion. I don't know if it's legal or not, as has been brought up, but that is my, you know, I would feel much more comfortable if it was $381.73. So I'll leave it at that.
Councillor Zink.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Unless that question has already been answered by our legal counsel. If it has, then I'm for it. But there seems to be enough question in my own mind, and I would rather see it as a percentage or unless it's been run by legal counsel and legal counsel has said it's okay, then I would hold off.
It did go by legal.
It did go by legal, Mr. Administrator.
Correct. It went to legal, and the goal was that if the school sells it 10 years from now and they're going to get $5 million on it, that the town would get 28.37%, or the town could choose to get 28.37% of the land and expand it into the park that they do have currently out there where the school's going to be located. So.
Can I have a follow-up? I don't think that was really the question. The question was this issue brought up relative to dollar amount versus percentage with our, I think, okay, then
And if that's what the council wishes to have, it's easy enough to change the agreement to reflect that.
Thank you.
Councillor Branch.
I just want to go on record as saying that it was discussed the last time we discussed the actual agreement between the town and the school, that it was the 28 point whatever percent that was being utilized as the payback. So this isn't something that was just created this evening. It was perhaps at our last meeting, maybe even the meeting before that. But quite honestly, this has gone through both town legal and school legal. And, you know, my initial concern with this when I first brought it up was to ensure that the school was well aware of what the uses of this property could be, so that there were no issues 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I believe, from my satisfaction, I have those answers, and I'm prepared to move on this.
Is that it? Councillor Levy.
I'm all set.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Wright?
Aye.
Council Levy?
I'm voting nay for the reason specified.
Councilor Branch?
Aye.
Councilor Zink?
Nay.
Councilor Carmichael?
Aye.
Councilor Bentley?
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro?
Aye. Motion passes 5-2. Next item on the agenda, now that I'm all, is the first reading of ordinance 2011-2012, closeout of downtown TIF fund, Main Street Enhancement Fund, transfer of captured assessed value to the general tax rolls, and repeal the downtown business district tax increment financing district as provided by ordinance 9803. Please forgive me a moment as I try to pull this up on the computer. It's right after the last one.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Have to read this one, too.
Unfortunately.
Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, by the Newmarket Town Council, ordinance number 2011-2012-03, relating to the closeout of the Downtown TIF Fund and Main Street Enhancement Fund, transfer all captured assessed value to the general tax rolls, and repeal the Downtown Business District Tax Increment Finance District as provided for in ordinance 9803. Whereas, the Newmarket Town Council adopted ordinance 98-03 relating to the establishment of the Downtown Business District Tax Increment Finance District, Downtown TIF. Whereas, the purpose of the Downtown TIF was to create incentives to encourage private investment and reinvestment in developing sectors of the community that will generate new taxes and new employment opportunities. Whereas, ordinance 9803 providing for revitalizing a portion of the Essex Mill building and roadway and utility improvements, pedestrian amenities, and enhancement of important historical and architectural elements of Newmarket Village. And whereas Resolution 2008-10 relating to the funding of Phase 2 of the Newmarket of the Main Street reconstruction project has been completed, and the Town Council wishes to discontinue the collection of tax increments to the Downtown TIF under RSA 162K, and to complete the transfers necessary to close out the Downtown Enhancement Fund. Now therefore be it resolved that, 1, the development program and the tax increment financing plan for the Downtown TIF are hereby amended, and to provide as follows. Development program and financing plan for the Newmarket Downtown TIF. All future public facilities for the Downtown TIF shall be constructed using funds raised in accordance with the general laws of the state of New Hampshire without the use of tax increments under RSA 162K. The town shall finance its remaining obligations for existing public facilities serving the Downtown TIF as follows. The town shall expend $198,279.52 from the Water Capital Reserve Fund for the cost of improvements constructed by the town of Newmarket to the water system serving the Downtown TIF, and transfer the same amount to the town's Main Street Enhancement Fund. B, the town shall transfer the balance of the Downtown TIF Fund, $483,104.57, to the town's Main Street Enhancement Fund. C, the Main Street Enhancement Fund shall be used to close out all project costs, to retire all bonds, notes, and other obligations related to the Downtown TIF. D, following the transfer of funds to the Main Street Enhancement Fund, Newmarket Ordinance 98-03 relating to the establishment of the Downtown Business District Tax Increment Finance District shall be repealed. All property in the Downtown TIF shall be assessed for ad valorem property taxation as provided by the general laws of the state of New Hampshire without the use of tax increments under RSA 162K. 2, the Town Council hereby approves the expenditure of $198,279.52 from the Water Capital Reserve Fund pursuant to RSA 35:15 to be paid to the Main Street Enhancement Fund as set forth in the development program and financing plan for the Newmarket Downtown TIF. 3, the Town Council hereby approves the transfer of the balance of the Downtown TIF funds, $483,104.57 to the Main Street Enhancement Fund for the purpose of closing out all project costs and retirement of bonds, notes, or other obligations of the Downtown TIF as set forth in the development program and financing plan for the Newmarket Downtown TIF. 4, Newmarket Ordinance 98-03 relating to the establishment of the Downtown Business Tax Increment Finance District is hereby repealed. This ordinance shall become effective upon its passage. Introduction date, June 6, 2012. Public hearing, June 20th, 2012. Public hearing.
No,
No? It's just a reading?
yes. I don't know why that's on there.
Even though it says public hearing June 20th?
No, the public hearing will be held on July 11th. It shouldn't be on there. I don't know
So the
why.
public hearing for this will be held.
Yes,
next one.
on July 11th.
One sec. Councilor Branch?
The introduction date is this evening, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that has to be changed.
Yes.
And basically, that's all this is a first reading.
This is a
Correct.
first
That's
reading.
it.
That is
No-
it.
no
public
comments,
hearing,
no nothing.
comments,
Okay.
no anything. It was just a reading of this. Point of order?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Person from the audience is
Right.
not
allowed
allowed
a
to
point of
call
order?
Right.
point of order. That's a member of the board.
Only.
Yes, they are.
No, they are not. Check
Yes, they are.
Robert's rules.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Robert's
I-
rules.
You have 5 minutes.
He's
You
been
have
gracious enough
you have 5
to
minutes,
allow
Roseanne.
people.
Go ahead.
I know it's a first reading, and there's usually no public comment, and I appreciate the chair allowing this. I think it's good for the community to have this, and I appreciate it. At the last meeting, I brought up some questions, and I gave some information regarding the downtown TIF and information I had gotten regarding $985,000 in sale of properties, and a portion of that was put into the general fund to lower the taxes that year. I did put another right to know in with 13 more questions, which was supposed to be returned to me under 91A on Tuesday, and I got an email from Mr. Winowski today stating he didn't have that information, he would have it tomorrow. I do have questions as to if there was a vote to allow that. The answers I got at the last 91A right to know about downtown TIF, there are a lot of empty spots with the information I got, so I knew there was more information, and I think that information should be gotten, probably the questions that I asked under my last right to know, that this council should have before, if something was done wrong in the past regarding downtown TIF, that should be corrected before this goes any further. And in light of the vote that was just taken, I mean,
No, you can't. Please, Roseanne, I've been gracious enough to allow you to come up here.
But-
Please do not editorialize. Please do not editorialize.
we
the
didn't
last
get a
one.
legal opinion, and you
Thank you.
voted on something that you shouldn't have.
Thank you. That was the first reading. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes. I will entertain a motion on the minutes. Vice Chair Bentley.
Make a motion to accept the June 6th business meeting minutes as written.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Counselor Levy. Please, people, trying to have a meeting up here.
I apologize if this isn't the one, but I'm on page 20. Is that part of these minutes?
June 6th?
Thought it was, but I think it was.
Yep.
But I think there was a small typo. It just says.
Page 6 of the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It says Counselor Nazaro said he thought everyone could agree on the end state should be. And I think you want that to be data. I don't think it's a big deal, but I would probably
Yeah.
change that. Unless we're ending the state. Which
That's
some
not a bad
days would
idea.
not be a bad idea.
That would require a capital S. Any other amendments to the minutes?
So that's date, correct? And
End date.
okay.
Any other amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Wright.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor LeBranch.
Aye.
Counselor Zink.
Aye.
Counselor Carmichael.
Aye.
Counselor Bentley.
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro.
Aye, motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, Town Administrator report on all departments and all department heads. Mr.
We have
Administrator.
the information that's been provided to you by the department heads, and if there are questions or if councilors wish to have anyone appear, I can schedule that for the business meeting on the 11th. Some of the other things, starting this Saturday, the Laka Music Series will begin again. The first band to be playing will be the Larry Newman Band, and all the bands will be performing from the Veterans Memorial Bandstand in the downtown. Work continues on the Old Home Day festivities, which is set for Saturday, August 11th. Again, this year, there'll be multiple stages throughout the town. There'll be the Oyster Fest going on, and the goal is folks are raising funds for the fireworks. And if anyone is interested in making donations, they can reach Adam Schroeder at the Stone Church. And lastly, the town office will be closed on Wednesday, July 4th, and the town council meeting has been moved to Wednesday, the 11th, which will then be the business meeting, and the workshop will be held on July 18th. So 2 meetings in a row next month. That's it.
Excellent. Any questions for the administrator on the reports? For me, I would rather have seen the reports be in a standard format. I feel like every department had a different format to their reports, so it wasn't consistent. And I'm going to say it every time, so I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. I would like to see a graph that has projected expenditures in the future, and I realize we're at the end of the fiscal year, so it's basically projected expenditures are the next 10 days. But moving forward, I mean, it would be much easier for us to make determinations based on projections, not just what actually has been spent.
Okay. We'll discuss that again tomorrow.
Any other comments? Seeing none. Agenda item number 1, updating the Southeast Watershed Alliance. Bill. Welcome.
Good evening. Bill Atcherry, 155 Exeter Road, the Newmarket representative of the Southeast Watershed Alliance. I don't know, for the benefit of the new councilors, I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Southeast Watershed Alliance. It was established in 2009 or 2010 to put together I don't want to use the word coalition, but a group of towns to come up with a unified front on dealing with this nitrogen loading issue. And so the communities in the coastal area, each town has a representative on the Southeast Watershed Alliance. In 2010, most of the time was spent sort of organizing the alliance, developing the bylaws, the board of directors, the organization of the alliance. 2011, a lot of time was spent on the education of the members of the alliance. We had a lot of people come in from UNH, a lot of experts provide some presentations on sources of nitrogen. We had people from Scott's Miracle Grow provide presentations. Now in 2012, 2013, this is probably the first year we are now getting into the implementation phases and looking to develop solutions on reducing nitrogen loading. So there is one opportunity, potential opportunity in front of us. The Alliance is putting in for a grant with the U.S. Department of Agriculture to obtain funds to assist towns in coming up with develop a watershed management plan, and it would be an integrated watershed management plan to address non-point sources, including stormwater, septic systems, manure management, as well as point sources as well. That application is going in soon, in the next month or two. The Alliance is kind of looking for any towns that would be interested in participating if the funds became available. And I have been asked to ask the council if they might be interested. I know Diane Hardy has also been contacted by the Alliance to see if she would provide a letter of support for this program and potential interest. If the funds were required, it would provide some public education outreach. It would provide some information about fertilizer management, some draft language about potential fertilizer management ordinances. It would identify areas where stormwater BMPs could be implemented to reduce nitrogen loads. So that's part of my reason to come before you. And you Diane might come before you as well to, or she may, I don't know, write her own letter. I don't know, but it still needs to. The funds need to be acquired. We still need to be awarded the grant, but that's an opportunity. The Alliance is now, putting in grant applications for a lot of different things and hoping to get more funds. I think the initial round of implementation, there'll be more money for towns to get involved. So there's one other opportunity, and it's not really related to the Alliance, but there are SRF money available for stormwater improvements or wastewater improvements, upgrades of collection lines. There's a July 20th deadline on that pre-application, if you're so interested in getting SRF money for something that needs to be done. That's pretty much all I have. I guess one thing that concerns me, if I could switch hats a little bit, as a Newmarket resident and not a representative of the Alliance, and a ratepayer, one thing that concerns me is that we don't delay too long on going forward on the wastewater treatment plant. That we do need to move forward, and a couple year delay can be a very costly add-on to what's going to be a costly project to begin with. So I know you're involved with the negotiations with EPA and discussions, and I know that's going forward. But one thing you might also want to consider is having a citizens advisory committee and sort of helping to move forward and educating the public, because this is going to be a tough thing to crack, and it's going to be a costly item. But if we wait 2, 3, 5 years, it could be one of the cost of the delay could be the biggest monetary impact on this town that would outweigh or negate any economic development that we might come forward with. I don't know if you have any questions, but
Yeah, I think there are. I'll just say that I would ask that counselors, we're currently in conversations with organizations around that, and we are not able right now to comment on that right now, basically.
yeah, I understood.
Councilor Levy.
Just a couple things. Just with respect to what you just said, which wasn't what I was going to ask you. You said, waiting X amount of years could end up costing the town X, Y, Z. Is there I'm just curious, what are you getting at?
Well, it's just that construction costs always go up, and just, if construction costs go up 4 or 5% a year, and we add on 3 years because we're waiting on something, then,
Okay.
That adds up.
Would this be in theory for the entire town, Bill?
The plan, watershed plan, yes.
Okay, so it would cover, so the entire town is under that umbrella, whether someone's near the bay, not near the bay, or whatever. It's just a general, is there more of a focus on?
No, it'd be the entire town, and may even involve other towns. It's really the Lamprey watershed, but each town has to kind of step forward and do things, and there may be opportunities to collaborate between towns.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Bentley.
Just that I thought there's a lot of info, quite a few pages of info and some interesting stuff. I thought it might be worth putting on the site so people can read and see.
Yeah, our entire packet's go on the website now. So
That is on there also now? Okay. Okay, good.
Is it? Councilor Wright.
Yeah, Bill, I agree, we have to do the sewer treatment, but my main concern is, I was just reading some articles and reports, and 85% of the nitrogen in the Lamprey River is non-point source. And, you mentioned that the storm drains, the manure, and, septic systems, and also fertilizer. I'm not saying it's an impossible task, but it's a pretty daunting task.
It is, but in order to solve this problem,
You have to start somewhere.
we're all going to have to
Yeah.
do something about it. It can't be just on wastewater alone. So it is going to take a little time, but I think in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see things happening. Some town is going to start doing things that, I would like to see Newmarket in the forefront of it, I think as a town, we are going to have to do something eventually. We could take advantage of some of this money that's going to be available up front. I think that won't be available as much as time goes on, as people start implementing.
They're also saying now that it's dissolved inorganic nitrogen that is the main issue, not total nitrogen, even though they give it by total nitrogen, and that's mainly coming out of our wastewater treatment facility. Mr. Lewandowski.
Bill, what would you recommend if you received that money? What would you feel should be implemented right off the bat? What could, I guess, residents do to mitigate?
Well, number one, a large part is taking inventory of what we have for sources. And a lot of that is kind of being done now with DES's nitrogen loading model. So they are doing that, but it's kind of on a watershed basis. And then it would have to be broken out by town and start inventorying, what's sewered, what's not sewered, how much impervious area do we have, how much turf field do we have, what are the sources? And then it comes up, what are the list of solutions, and what are the, cost-effective solutions, and what can we get for removal efficiencies? So that's all part of the planning. But it first starts with an inventory of what we have, and then applying, solutions.
Councilor Levy.
Just a quick question, Bill. Is the amount of impervious pavement, is there a direct correlation between that and non-point source?
Is there a direct correlation?
Correlation, yeah. In other words, the more impervious pavement you have, or, areas that don't, obviously have drainage. I was just curious, because when they say non-point sources, I was trying to, get a handle on that, and...
Yeah, it's, pavement, impervious area is definitely a contributing factor.
What are some of the other ones, just briefly, just so, if nothing else, to educate me and the public?
Well, septic system, fertilizer, lawn fertilizer, manure management. Those are the main ones, the main contributors.
Okay.
Stormwater runoff, is that also?
Well, stormwater runoff from paved surfaces, yes. And we do, the town did update their site plan subdivision regs, which is a good first start. And I failed to mention that Southwest Watershed Alliance also got a grant to help other communities do that. So we are one step ahead of the game in that regard. So any future development will have to address these more stringent standards.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions for Bill? Bill, thank you very much
Thanks.
for your time. Appreciate your presentation. Next, Trish Simmons. Agreement between the town and Moody Point Association regarding wastewater force main.
Hi.
Come up with Mr. Baggage.
This is Joan Badger from Moody Point.
bodyguard.
That's right. We had presented after the April 18th meeting. I gave a copy to the town council and the town administrator our agreement. It was my understanding it was then going to go to your attorneys, and I was surprised that I was on the agenda tonight. But we just got handed, I guess, which is your lawyer's...
Essentially the agreement.
The agreement
Yeah.
back, which the only difference I can see is that they talk about a waste water collection system instead of a town sewer line. So it's the same thing,
Same
just in
thing.
different wordage. So it looks like, does this mean that this is okay then to go?
Yep.
Okay, what about the easement deed?
We presented a draft easement deed because the force main has been running underneath
That I don't have.
town property for 25 years, and we continue to try and clean up the bits and pieces left by the developer, so
This was just like
we
to,
think
Look at that.
the easement deed is something the town and we should have also.
okay, so then what's our next step?
If the council doesn't have a problem with it, it's just a matter of adopting it and signing off at this point.
says it has to be in front of a notary, so do I have to come in
That we
sometime?
would have to do,
Going to see Becky or?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you'll get the easement deed?
Yep.
To us? Okay. That's it.
So, is this the thing we just got? Did we just get this?
Yes,
I mean, we haven't really had an opportunity to review
exactly.
it.
Oh, it's the same as the one I gave you on May, whatever, except the verbiage is changed.
The only change is that basically
Is that
occurred
water
there
containment,
where they talked about a
collection
sewer line,
containment. What?
just termed it a wastewater collection system. The thing is that
Lot of time.
the Booty Point Association will be bound by the rules and regulations, which is the ordinance governing discharge of waters and waste into public sewer systems, which everybody else is.
Which we are already anyway.
I dropped
The only
this
two
off
changes.
May 29th in the town hall for the town council and the administrator. Based on, after the April 18th meeting, you asked our attorneys to do it, and I guess this is the answer, and the
Our
only,
two attorneys agree to this.
apparently, yes, except for wastewater collection system.
I couldn't find it. Just like this. Never got it. I don't know if it's in the
We'll have it on
box,
for the 11th.
but I don't. Okay. We will it kill you all if we don't vote on this to the 11th?
No, but could you just tell me, so I don't know, like, I don't want to read the agenda and find out I'm on it, so if you could let me know, like, what the plan is in the next step,
Yep.
and then if we can get the easement then, too, then we can move forward,
Can we get
okay?
them the easement and get them on the
Right.
agenda for the 11th? All right, thank
Okay,
you.
very
We'll
good.
have,
You like the surprise? Quick, come tonight, okay.
Surprise us all.
I'll have
Thank you.
Becky here to,
All right.
so you can sign off on it.
Thank you very much. Next, resolution on water and sewer rates. And item 3A. Is that 3A's too?
Yep.
Oh, man. Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, by the Newmarket Town Council, Resolution 2011-2012-31, increase of water and sewer rates. Whereas the Newmarket Town Council has adopted a water and sewer rate structure, which is reviewed yearly in order to assure adequate funds to operate the systems, fund future projects, and promotes conservation. And whereas the water and sewer departments anticipate significant current and future expenditures for increased operating expenses, well development, and new wastewater treatment facility, to name a few. Now therefore be it resolved, the Newmarket Town Council does hereby approve the following water and sewer rates to be effective with the issuance of the August 2012 billing cycle. Water users will be billed a $6 systems charge each quarter, and the rate will remain $4.25 per 100 cubic feet of water. Sewer users will be billed $6 systems charge plus $6.70 per 100 cubic feet of water. Given this town council chambers in Newmarket, New Hampshire, this 20th day of June, year of our Lord, 2012. Just so everyone is aware, the water fee is the same, and the sewer rate went up, how much?
50 cents.
50 cents. Discussion. Do you have anything to add to that, Sean? Or,
Well,
I know we talked about this last meeting.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add is to make sure that it gets changed, that it makes sure that it reflects that the systems charge is $6 per quarter. And it's not a change, that's what it always has been.
Yeah, so
Yes.
in the water size, it says a $6 system charge each quarter, but in the sewer one, it just says a $6 system charge. That should say per quarter.
Will do.
I will entertain a motion on the resolution as amended. Vice Chair Bentley, thank you.
Motion to adopt resolution 2011/2012-31, increase of water and sewer rates.
Second?
Motion to second, discussion. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Minister has a vote.
Counselor Wright.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Yay.
Counselor LeBranch.
Aye.
Counselor Zink.
Aye.
Counselor Carmichael.
Aye.
Counselor Bentley.
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro.
Aye, motion passes 6-0. I'm sorry,
6-1.
6-1. Next is resolution on small claims court against Fairpoint. Where's that resolution here? My bookmarks are not working today. Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, by the Newmarket Town Council, Resolution 2011-2012-32, granting the interim finance director to undertake small claims action against Fairpoint Communications for recovery of unpaid police details. whereas Fairpoint Communications requested police details for traffic control purposes on several occasions and failed to cancel said detail requests in a timely fashion, and whereas Fairpoint Communications was billed and has not paid its invoice for $1,152 due on June 30th, 2009, relating to police detail it requested and canceled without sufficient notice, and whereas the town desires to collect this overdue invoice, and whereas New Hampshire Small Claims Court requires a resolution from the town council supporting a small claims action for recovery of said cost. Now therefore be it resolved, the town council hereby authorizes the interim finance director to bring a small claims action and any associated costs that may be added thereto against Fairpoint Communication for its unpaid invoice of $1,152, given at the town council chambers in Newmarket, New Hampshire, this 20th day of June in the year of our Lord, 2012. Mr. Strange, do you have any?
No. You've said it all. Unless, of course, you guys have questions. So.
Councilor Levy does.
How much is this going to cost us to have Matt handle this?
I haven't looked at the filing fees, but I suspect it's going to be about $105 to file it.
And how many hours are you're going to go to the, you're going to...
Small claims court, yeah.
And I'm just curious, how much time do you think this is going to be?
Probably not more than 4 hours.
Are we going to spend 5 or 6 hours chase? I mean, I'm just bringing it up.
Well, the concern I have is that the town historically has not been grooming its receivables. So if we don't have a strong voice against the people that we invoice, it would make collection difficult in the future.
I guess, obviously, I'm asking if what we're paying Matt to do this is worth, and could someone else do it that's, on a less of a salary, et cetera. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I was surprised the dollar amount was, it's almost half.
Yeah.
For what we're chasing, we don't know what's going to happen. Could lose.
Fair question.
What is the total?
$1,152. Is your button working?
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah. Vice Chair Bentley, then Councilor Zink.
Well, I support going after it. I mean, there's, looks like we have some pretty detailed stuff. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 occasions with the officer name and the date where it was canceled without sufficient notice, and it's owed to the town, and if we spend $1,000 getting $1,152, then we're still ahead of where we are now. I can't anticipate losing money out of the ordeal. So,
is that it? Councilor Zink?
Yeah, I don't support doing it. I would prefer to have Matt spend those 4 or 5 hours on immediate issues, and this to me is a wild goose chase against Fairpoint Communications. It was back in 2009. I think we've got more pressing matters than even spending much time talking about it.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah.
Councilor Carmichael.
I don't support it either. I think Matt is going to have enough work to keep him going instead of running around filing these things. My question is to Ed. Don't we have a rapport with these people? I mean, they've got the little station right down here. The people have been in here talking to us in the past, from Fairpoint. I can't believe that we can't make a couple phone calls and collect this money or something from them. This just sounds really stupid.
Generally, the guys that are across the street don't interact. We don't interact with them because they just have somebody else set up the appointment for them, and then they're doing the work. They're the linemen and stuff. I don't know if have given them a phone call or not relative to the outstanding debt. We can follow up with that.
I hate chasing, and I don't think they would want, hopefully somebody is watching from Fairpoint, that they don't want the bad publicity either. But,
can I add just a little bit to this? The statute of limitations prevents collection after June 30th. So to bring them in small claims court and then negotiate a settlement after that would be favorable. And it's my understanding, too, that they have been contacted in the past. I don't know if there's been any recent contact. That information is unavailable to me.
Anything else, Councilor Carmichael?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Councilor Wright.
You know, it's $1,500, and we're talking about $150 to file it. and we're talking
11,
about-
it's 1152.
All right, and it's Matt's time. Does Matt have to file it personally? Could, you know, I don't want to put any more load on Becky, but would she be the obvious choice to do this?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I think this council can appoint literally anybody. Small Claims Court is the court of general litigation, basically. It can be anybody.
You had a chance to talk to Mr. I want to echo that. Is there someone else that is qualified to handle it inside the building that besides you?
A town
Not just
administrator.
anyone, someone qualified.
Qualified town administrator could do it. Becky could do it. It's not a proceeding that is like going to the Superior Court or District Court. It's very informal. You present evidence on both sides, and then the judge makes a decision at that point. My only concern is that the statute of limitations is going to force this to end.
Is there, there's my last point, and then I'll allow others. Is there a way that we could pass something along these lines that did not, I mean, to me, I agree with Councilor Zink. There was a lot of things that we're facing as a town, and I realize you were doing a great job clearing this up.
Okay.
I want to continue that momentum, and taking you off, even for half a day, when you're here for 3 days a week, to spend it chasing down $1,100, to me, is not an efficient use or effective use of your
Okay.
time.
Just one thought on that point.
Yeah, you're the next one anyway, Councilor.
There's several people in finance, to my knowledge, that work. I don't know why Matt cannot convey the basic facts. Have someone go down. Where is this adjudicated, Matt?
It's going to be at Rockingham County.
Okay, so it's within
Brentwood.
15, 20 minutes max? They can go down, get a result, and it'll cost a fraction of the money, I would think. Certainly, they're not making what Matt makes. I don't know if it requires, what I'm really saying is I don't know that it requires someone of.
It doesn't require someone of a high level or an attorney to get it done. You're right.
That's why I brought it up.
Although I think it should be someone at a higher level than say a clerk. Because you have.
The staff accountant.
Sorry?
Staff accountant could do it.
Yeah, do you have somebody in the office that you feel you could convey the information to?
Yep.
Right. Vice Chair Bentley.
How about a counselor?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll do it if no one else will do it, but I think just to turn our back on $1,100 when we're looking at saving $30 and $50 here and $100 here, and to say freebie, come to Newmarket and owe us $1,200 and walk away is ludicrous. I agree Matt and other people have more serious things to do, but I think we need to find someone else to say, we have 6 dates, and I can't believe that Chief Sear made these up, and I can't believe we didn't do due diligence to try to get them paid for. Someone needs to get the $1,200 owed, or tell them they're not allowed to do business in our town. That's how I would take it. No more police details means you can't do any more work in our town. If that's the way you want to play, we can play that way too, but to turn our eyes on this is a bad thing, I think. I'll do it if no one else will do it. I'll work with you and get a quick.
Yep.
So
be
the two
very
options
easy.
on the table right now are really the staff accountant or a member of the council. Does anyone have an opinion one way or another?
It's a good thing about a council. If the council loses, they can write the check. That was a faint-hearted interjecting some humor. I have no problem with whoever.
Is there a way we could pass this resolution and ensure that Matt is not the one that is actually, just saying the interim finance director doesn't mean he's the one that's physically going to court?
I guess my suggestion would be to change it from the interim finance director to the finance department. And we would identify somebody from that office to be the one to take
Okay.
care of that
I
issue.
think you said someone other than a clerk, right?
Yeah.
We can work on it. And if you
Market
want to,
representative.
you can say, or a town councilor.
Or town council.
Why can't we just say the town council authorized the town of Newmarket to bring small claims action?
Okay, perfect.
I mean, why would we leave it so narrow?
Or an employee of Or, no, a representative
Representative
of
of the town of Newmarket.
a representative of
There
the
we
town
go.
of
And you
Newmarket.
understand, as the administrator and the interim finance director, that our intent is not to spend high labor dollars on this. but to
Absolutely.
There we go.
Mhm.
I will entertain a motion on this resolution as amended.
So just read the, can you read?
The amendment would say, now therefore be it resolved, the town council hereby authorizes the representative of the town of Newmarket to bring a small claims action and any associated cost that may be added thereto against Fairpoint Communication for its unpaid invoice of $1,152.
Second.
So move, motion, so move.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Wright?
Aye.
Counselor Levy?
Aye.
Counselor Branch?
Aye.
Counselor Sink?
Aye.
Counselor Carmichael?
Aye.
Counselor Bentley?
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro?
Aye, motion passes unanimously.
Are we really signing this, even though with the word quarterly is on that one?
Next item, road surface management system. Update on road surface management. Mr. Molaski.
That's on the other, just for, right, that's on the.
It's on the for the counselors, it's on the second portion of the packet. You got two portions of the packet. What you got, Rick?
Everybody received a copy. I don't know if you had a chance. We got it pretty late Thursday, the inventory assessment of our roads from UNH.
Yeah.
And it's basically a 10-year plan, broken down. Our roads are in, a lot of our big, long roads are in pretty bad condition, essentially. For instance, Ash Swamp Road's like a 4-year plan to just finish from one end to the other. The budget has been set. I don't know if everyone saw that page. The page is not numbered in this, so I can't really direct you to a page, but the first year, if you saw the total there, they came up with the 487, 451, which obviously, we don't have that kind of money. Second year was 374,000. Third year was 365, then 366, and then finally, you get into year 7, it starts coming back a little, around the 200,000 mark. We budgeted this year 125,000 for paving. The municipal transportation fund at this point has a balance of $342,331. We could, with our pricing, John Bell, spoke with him today. We had a new contract last year that expires the 30th of this month, essentially. He's willing to honor that contract and extend it 1 year to June 30th, 2013, and hold his prices. I checked with some surrounding communities that just went out to bid, and their prices are a lot higher than what our current contract that would expire next week is. He's more than willing to extend that. If the council's in agreement to that, he'll provide a letter to us, sign off on it, and it'll extend it. It's something we have done in the past from time to time with him. They've been doing our paving for well over 10 years now. They've been getting a contract. So I'm not sure if you folks are comfortable releasing some funds from that municipal transportation fund. If you do look at year 1, under the roads listed, we could essentially do everything in there aside from Old Route 108, Grant Road, they call it Grant Street, but it's Grant Road, and Bennett Way I ran some numbers today using his numbers at our current pricing and did some measuring. We could do everything with deleting the roads I just spoke about for $345,000 and $837. With the 125 in there, if you released 226, that would leave a balance of 116,331 in that account. We haven't, I looked through the records today, and it hasn't been dipped into since 2005, according to all the records I looked at, and that was for the preemption light on 108. So I throw that out on the table to you folks because we're getting a little late in the season. One good thing is we do know what pricing is by, a lot of the communities have already done this. And he's willing to honor his contract for another year and hold the pricing.
Questions? Councilor Levy.
Boy, this was very thorough. The priority, maybe you can just help, I'm sure it was in there, but my eyes glossed over, there was a lot of information.
Yeah.
So, the condition index 78, is that, I'm assuming, because like below that, I'm looking at the priority, table 4 on page 19, just so everybody knows where I am. It has Old Road 108, Grant Street, obviously Grant Road, et cetera. I didn't really know how to read that table as well as I would have liked to have. I saw the priorities, 16, 25, 1500, going down the line, condition index, UID. Can you just give us a little overview on this stuff? I think it was table 4, repairs and condition index ordered by priority, Rick.
My pages aren't numbered, so I'm trying to
Yeah, it's
follow
table.
along.
Was that the first? It was table 4.
Table 4.
Table 4.
Because I had,
Yeah, it's deep. It's almost towards the end.
I had trouble, figuring out like how they came up with the priorities. I mean, obviously, crack seal means this.
Essentially, if a road has, they look at the gaps, they look at allocating like longitude, they looked at rutting in the road. So if there's a street out there, for instance, like Bennett Way, for instance, they're saying anticipate future maintenance, asphalt, crack sealing. We go out there and take care of the few cracks that are out there now, and that'll get you maybe 6 to 7 more years before you have to do something to that road. And then your priorities change when you look at those rates, Council Levy.
Yeah.
It all figures in. It's not my program, so I.
Did you know what all those, all those references meant? Because then I'm looking at table 4, which was the year 1 repairs, which was, I guess, 478,000, as you had stated. But it wasn't necessarily the same things that were in that priority table. That's why I was confused. Was I the only one that missed that, or? Because it was a little painful. They have Ashwaunt Road at 274,000, which is the biggest part, obviously, of the 278.
And that portion is only from the ballroom to Stonewall.
Okay.
That's only that section of the road. It's
That's over $250,000.
if you go back to where they break the roads down, they break down the footage, and they broke down Ashwaunt Road into 4 sections.
Okay.
I think they're kind of trying to, the first few years, the budget's pretty tough, but we've been kind of behind in the times with our funding for that, so we're trying to play catch-up a little bit.
Just so I don't want to go on, the priority for the year 1, I would have thought would have followed the priorities in that table before, but they don't, do they?
The table is not listed in accordance to the priority of road condition, as I read it.
Yes, so like,
road conditions, if you look at, I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk out of turn.
no, it's okay. I was just trying to figure it out because, we're talking about a lot of money. And, they had Old Route 108, Grant Road, Hershey, Bay Road. That was their priority on page 19. Okay? And then if you go down to what I was just asking about, the road repair part, where they're actually budgeting for each year, which is page 29, it's not exactly the same. I mean, maybe it is all the same. I couldn't line it up, but if you go to page 29, you'll see, I think some of them were, but some of them weren't. So, and I don't know.
There's 2 other councils want to talk.
Yeah,
I
please.
think I might have it. Councilor Wright.
Yeah, Rick, has the town done crack seal repairs before, and to this extent that this study's calling for?
We haven't done crack sealing
Yeah,
in the past, we just haven't done that.
yeah.
we haven't had budgets like what's proposed in this plan too, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our biggest budget was like 345.
Yeah.
That was the highest that it was ever for this, but like they say, most of these roads that are at the top of the list
Right.
need full reclamation and an overlay and.
Right. But crack sealing will give you
Crack sealing,
6 to
some of the
7 extra
roads
year.
we've done in, say,
Yeah.
the last less than 10 years.
Right.
They're saying, go start taking care of those cracks now, and you'll get more life out of that before you have to do anything else to it.
Right.
Is what they're trying to say.
So they're trying to be proactive.
When I look at Old Route 108 from the ballroom up to the golf course stop sign, don't necessarily agree that crack sealing's the answer there. I mean, that's in just about as bad shape as the rest of Ash Swamp, but that's what they put down. So I mean, the cracks are pretty big, and there's a lot of settlement and rutting and so forth, but I think they try to balance it out and make it something that's affordable per se and not realistic for us.
Is that it, Councilor Ray?
Yes.
Councilor Zink?
Number one, I hope that's not the question. I mean, they shouldn't be trying to evaluate based on affordability. I mean, I hope that's not part of the equation. But can you explain, go to table 4.
For the schedule of,
Repairs and condition index ordered by priority.
What page you on now, please?
19.
It's the big list of all of the
Yeah.
roads.
nothing's numbered on this, so I apologize.
Do you want to look at my computer, Rick? Would it help you?
Does it look like these pages here?
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
And it starts off, with the first one on there is priority 1625.
Okay,
Are you there?
yep.
What does that mean?
It's their ranking. I really don't know.
I don't either. What's UID?
Those are my questions.
I believe that's how they identify the road.
I think, I'd like to have them come in and explain this, because I got to tell you, I don't, I can't understand the priorities. I don't know what UID means. I hope they're not trying to make their recommendations based on what they think our affordability is. So I'm just not,
Well, I think on the affordability, if you were to look at Ash Swamp Road, it needs to be done from one end to the other, and if they put that in the budget, it would be millions of dollars, you know? and
Yep.
So they try to piece it in there and still take care of some roads that need to be maintained.
I don't think that's their job.
you know?
Personally, I don't think that's their job. And priorities, there's like 18 225 priorities. So I guess, Rick, my point is I think they ought to come in and present their findings, would be my recommendation.
Is that it, Councilor Zink?
Thank you.
I echo Councilor Zink's. I don't understand what priority, condition index, I don't know what the numbers mean. I don't know what the differentiation is with the scale. So I don't know if those are codes for something or, so I would agree that, one, I would like them to come brief us on this. And two, I don't think, I agree, it's their role to tell us, maybe in conjunction with you, how much it would cost. And then our role in conjunction with you to determine the prioritization and how much resources we want to apply to the roads, based on their assessment. Councilor Levy.
Just to give you an idea, because I just tried to synopsize it, you know, on page 19, and then if you jump to page 29, and I could have missed one because I did it really fast, their first year of priorities, and by the way, I don't think they had any problem with price. They didn't hold back because of what we could or couldn't afford. This is the kitchen sink. But that aside, I mean, maybe they need to take a look at what our budget is and where we get the most bang for the buck, but that's a conversation with them, I guess. But the only ones I can correlate to those two pages are Old Route 108, Grant Street, and Hershey Lane. I might have missed one, but I was completely confused. I mean, it looks like a very elaborate, I mean, it's very comprehensive. I think it's great to have this. I think what we need to do is have them come in and, in conjunction with Rick, and who's, you know, driven these roads, knows the roads, knows, you know, which ones are used the most, et cetera, and try to come up with some priority. I don't know how much, I mean, Rick, did you work with them on this at all?
All I did was give them a tour of the town.
Okay, so, you know, maybe they need a little input from us, and we can kind of, you know, come together on this, because I think they probably did what they were supposed to do, which was do an analysis, but I can't make their, first of all, it doesn't line up, you know, the priorities, and second of all, I think they're gonna need some input from Rick and what the heck we have for money.
And all I told them on the budget was what, at one time, what the budget used to be a year for roads and what it is today. I gave them those numbers.
As opposed to talking in circles about this all night, can we just can we reach out to them, have them and Rick do a conjoint brief?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Could we get anything they're gonna bring, Rick, ahead of time? If they're gonna give, you know, legends and different things, if we can get that.
Yeah, it was my understanding you guys were real hot for this, and I got this late.
Oh, no, we got
Thursday.
that. No, I mean, if they were gonna bring anything at this next meeting, if they were, if we could get it, in other words, they don't come in that night and say here, and then we try to do it that night. That's all I'm saying.
Great. Anything else for Chief? Awesome. Thank you very much, Rick. Do you have anything else for us?
The only thing I guess I would ask, do we want to go out to bid, or do we want to ask John accept his offer to extend his contract for another year?
Can you brief us again on that? I realized you talked about it in there, but
Last year, we paid $185 a square yard for reclamation, and we paid $71 a ton for binder, $73 for top, and $115 for handwork. Durham's paying $74 a ton for their paving program this year.
this is nothing against you, Rick, but I have an issue with being sort of blindsided by this information right now without, I mean, at what point did we know that we were gonna have to have this conversation? Because you said that if it's not extended by when? June 30th?
June 30th is when it ends for us. And some communities have been doing that with him because he's been holding his pricing. It's something we've done in the past, so I said, I'll bring it up tonight. We're gonna be talking about the roads. I'll bring it up tonight, because he reached out to me to find out if we were going out to bid, what we were doing, and we've been waiting for this report, so.
All right, there's a couple other councils want to talk, but Council Zank.
I don't think we have an option. I think we have to go out to bid. I don't think we can,
Just extend.
I mean, right? I mean, don't we have a purchasing procedure that says over a certain amount we have to go out to bid?
Well, we did. He's just offering to extend his contract another year.
I think. Okay, thanks.
Councilor Levy.
Okay, so you've called a couple of people and they were higher, is that what you said?
I checked with communities that have just gone out to bid recently.
Yeah.
And checked what their tonnage pricing is, and it's considerably higher than what's being offered to us with the contract.
What was their budget, the same as we're looking to spend?
Durham's was $485,000,
Okay.
and they're paying $74 a ton.
And we're paying, I'm sorry, I'm just glossed over.
We would be paying 71 for binder and 73 for finished course.
Okay. I sort of feel like you, and it's like,
Yeah.
we gotta do it by the end of the month, or we could pay $1 more.
No one's saying you have to do it by the end of the month. I'm just saying,
Why don't you
His
see if he could,
contract runs out.
why don't you see if he could extend it through our next meeting and at least get a couple of comparable bids, just so we had something to go by. I mean, he'll probably extend it if he wants to work.
we can go out to bid. That's fine.
I mean, I don't think there's any, but I mean, if he would extend it, then we'd really be in a position, if the bids come in higher, we didn't hurt ourselves. If he extended it to our next meeting.
The only other thing I would need to know is if it's gonna be the 125, or if we're gonna release some funds from the transportation
Okay.
fund.
Well, yeah, we can't talk to that right now. Councilor Carmichael.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, the savings amount, how much you're looking for over the next, confused on the monies. You're saying the 125, and
In-
in other words, Flynn, Bell and Flynn, correct?
Yep.
They got a price, and Durham's got a price, and you're saying it's like $1, $2? I mean, how much actual savings by the work you're planning on doing would that save us, just to say they've got it?
It depends which roads we pave, because it depends if it's binder work or if it's finish work. You know, it's gonna be, could be $3 a ton, or could be $1 a ton less than what Durham's paying.
I guess we've got to go out to bid though, right?
Yeah, I would think we would have to go out to bid. Rick, my question is, can you not go out to bid until you know what roads we're doing? Or is their rates gonna be the same regardless of what our roads?
When they know what the tonnages are, obviously, the more you do, the better price you get. So when you know, when you can say, I can do 2,000 tons, or I'm just making up numbers, it makes a difference versus we can do 800 tons.
So we really have no ability to even go out to bid right now until we know what roads we're doing.
We can go out to bid. When we know what our tonnages could potentially be, we could potentially get better pricing, is what I'm saying. Than just saying, we're paving this year, we don't know how many roads, we don't know what the tonnage is, we'd like a price. It depends if it's a street with a lot of structures and curbing versus a country road like Grant Road. Those all factors come into their bid pricing. Things like that, slow them down, speed them up, it's all considered, it's all a factor.
Ed, do you have something to add to this?
Well, I was just gonna, Rick, how many tons will we get with the $125,000 that you have? What is that going to provide you?
About 1,800 tons.
1,800 tons. And it'll do how much roadway?
It would do, I don't have the footage written down right here, I just have the tonnage. But for instance, it would, I'll rattle off the roads and you might be familiar. Sandy Lane, Hershey Lane, the 108 end, down to the bottom of Huckins, which turns into Durrell, Chapel Street, and Johnson Drive.
And all of these are the wear course that you're
It'd
going
be
to
the finish, yeah, the finish
course.
top coat.
So this doesn't account for some that we're gonna wanna do, that they're suggesting we like crack seal and stuff like that. So
No,
this is just
it's just
assuming
gonna be-
all the money is being spent on
Paving,
totally paving.
Paving.
yes.
Reserve, Council Levy?
Just in the spirit of, as you said, moving this along, and since we don't really have enough information to make any lucid decisions, is there anything wrong with asking Rick to see if he'll lock in his price for another 30 days, so we can figure out, I mean, it's the first I've really heard about coming up with a articulated plan. I mean, we haven't, this is the first time I've seen, the roads laid out like this. So, if that would happen, it would probably take a lot of the pressure off of us to feel like we're making a bad financial decision for the town. And I don't know why you wouldn't hold the price for 30 days.
I'm sure if I call them in the morning and tell them that you guys weren't comfortable making a decision at this time, so no decision's been made.
Right.
We're not saying no, we're not saying yes.
Just give us some time to figure out what the hell we're doing.
He's offering to extend this out to another year. I'm sure, just tell him a decision hasn't been made.
Does any counselor have an issue with that?
No, let's do that.
All right, thank you. Rick, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry to step out.
That's right. Autogas, we said we are moving on, we're going to move to the next agenda. Item 6, council goal priority number 2, to put the community on a path to long-term economic health. Discussion of establishing an economic development committee to foster new economic development within the community. So last time we discussed having, establishing a committee in conjunction with Chapter 6 of the Master Plan, an economic development committee. I think that we need to decide as a council what the size and membership breakdown of that committee would be. And from there, determine who from the council we want to be representative. In interest of keeping the conversation moving, I have had the opportunity to talk to several individuals within the community, and I'm just going to put this out as a potential breakdown of the committee, and we can have a conversation around that, and we can totally change it if the council decides so. a 9-person committee with 2 counselors, a planning board rep, 2 NCDC reps, NBA rep, and 3 at-large roles. The idea behind it is that obviously this is an enormous task for the town and a priority. Obviously, it's one of our priorities. So having at least 2 counselor representatives would demonstrate the attention that we are paying to this committee. Obviously, the planning board needs to be involved. NCDC and NBA should be crucial partners with us in any economic development within the town, and the at-large would give the opportunity for other members of other residents of the town to be involved. Large 9-person committee, but it's a large task that I think requires as much input from across the community as possible. So if other councilors have other ideas or comments on that.
So just go to two NBA.
2 counselors, 1 planning, 2 NCDC, 1 MBA, 3 at large, 9-person.
One more time?
2 counselors.
Yeah.
1 planning.
Yeah.
2 NCDC.
Yeah.
1 NBA.
Yeah.
3 at large, and a partridge in a pear tree.
And Al's Inc. Food and refreshments.
Thoughts? Vice Chair Bentley?
Well, for lack of, I mean, it's a start unless it's if we think it's too small, too big down the road, we can always adjust, correct? I mean, we need to, I think Ms. Shelton was nice enough to, spend time and come talk to us a couple weeks, and I think time is of the essence. And the more we sit around and wait and wonder, start with this unless there's other yay, nay, or tweak it as we need, and maybe have alternates. I would think for the 3 at large, certainly, that, so you can keep the momentum going once we get this rolled off, but it's something, and it's better than what we have now, and I agree with Ms. Shelton that we need to get rolling here.
Councilor Levy.
Just one thought, and it's just a thought, since the council's going to be making a lot of, ultimately financial decisions on this and whatnot, if we're going to have 2 NCDC and 2 MBA, I think we could have 2 at large and maybe 3 counselors just to have, a little more representation from the council, just because we're going to.
It's the suggestion was 2 NCDC, 1 MBA, 3 at large.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 NBA. I apologize, I thought it was 2. Well, so I guess it's up to you. I just thought instead of maybe 3 at large, we could have another counselor, but that's just my thought.
Thank you.
If we have people that are interested, I don't know.
Councilor Wright.
I'd just say, for the town council, you're saying 2, but I think anyone on the town council who wants to put their time in should be more than welcome to be on that committee. Instead of, 2, maybe 2 people don't want it, but if they're 3, I just say, hats off to them, let them go for it.
Councilor Zink.
I think your initial list looks good to me. My only comment about having 3 counselors is, how do I say this kindly? It shouldn't be so dominated by councils, it feels like a council meeting to everybody else that's there. So if I was going to expand anything, I would expand the at-large, because we got a lot of people in our community that know this stuff, that are in the business and understand it. So if we were going to expand it, which I wouldn't, I'd expand the at-large members to get residents involved in this. It's their future. That's my 2 cents worth.
Other thoughts? So the discussion on the table now is between 2 to 3 counselors, really is what I'm hearing. Can we just get a feel for what the council feels like? How many counselor reps should be? You said 3, you said?
I'm just saying, a minimum of 2, and then if I think anyone who wants to volunteer time, I just think they, they're willing to put the effort, the time, let's not shut them out. That's all I'm just saying.
As long as it's not 4, because then we got a quorum.
Right. No.
Councilor Levy, you said 3 already.
I think that would be fine.
Do we know what we're looking at for time? Like how often is it meeting? How often is it, do we know?
to me, it needs to at least be monthly. I mean, it needs to be at least. If this is gonna have a real earnest effort, 12 times a year is, I don't think is enough.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I mean, we're all on other
Boards and
boards,
other, yeah.
and that needs to be in the decision too. If you're gonna tell 3 people now, go to this and go to that and go to this, and we thought last year was a weird year, and it isn't. Here we are again, having a lot of
Yeah.
extra meetings and special meetings, and so that just needs to be, and I certainly agree, say that we said the number was 2. I would think just like in the efficiencies committee, you know, Al goes and we bounce stuff off and talk to him, and we would get updates, and we ought to be able to call each other and say, hey, you know, hey, Ed, you're going to that meeting, you know, I got an idea or a question, or meetings are public, you know, go to the meeting as a citizen. You don't need to go as Joe Council. You can sit right out there and bring up ideas too. So I don't really care one way that 2 or 3. It's just, that's why I asked. I think it would have to be more than monthly now too. And so now you're 2 times a month there, 2 times at least here, and then, you know, your other committee meeting that you're on. So I don't care one way that it's 2 or 3.
Councilor Branch?
2.5.
I'm good with 2.
2. Councilor Zink is 2. Councilor Carmichael?
I think 2's good, but as Dan said, if somebody, I mean, we're all, like you just got through saying, John, Vice Chair, we're all very busy with other committees and the extra meetings. If somebody wants to go out there and help out, I have no problem in an extra counselor.
Yeah. I'm for 2 as voting members of it, but I certainly have no issue with a 3rd counselor wanting to come present, be an active participant in it. I think the efficiency committee has 2 counselors that are official representatives to it,
That might
but
be
other
a good
counselors show up as to commit to it. So,
I think Val's point is that they really, you know, looking for direction from the council.
yeah.
And so if we have 2, one alternate, or if you want to call it an alternate, somebody just helping out,
Yeah.
perhaps, but 2, yeah.
Okay. It should be noted that Val was very heavily influential, and she was one of the people I've talked about this about, and was
Good.
one of the
Okay.
people that. Any issues with the other breakdown, the planning and CDC, NBA, or at large? Any other strong feelings around that?
I echo what Councilor Zink said.
Yep, go ahead.
That, you know, if we get, you know, if we throw it out for 3 at large and we get 4 or 5, we ought to take a hard look at that. We have people, again, especially if they have some expertise and knowledge, and might be hard to say no. I mean, I know it makes it a little bit bigger, but you get people rolling up their sleeves saying they want to help. I would say that certainly has room for, knowing that someone might miss a meeting now and then anyway, so maybe that number's 4 or 5, but let's at least start with this, and if we think we need to add, we can add.
Any other thoughts? Do we require to make this committee, do we require a motion?
I think the council should adopt the resolution establishing the committee
Okay.
as an advisory committee, which is outlined in the charter,
Okay.
and be ongoing, and then outline how many individuals would be on it, how they get appointed, go from there.
All right. So could we get a resolution for the next meeting?
Yes.
Then do you want to ask anyone that wants to notify you, any counselor that wants, not
Yes.
public?
Yep. Any counselor that wants to be part of this committee, please let me know, and we'll have the conversation and motions, everything. Next meeting, we have the resolution. Yep.
I would think that anybody that's going to go on this should at least be on it for a year. So those whose terms are up that are not moving forward, I don't think that makes sense.
I would agree with that. Any other comments? Great. Next agenda item, Blackberry TIF ordinance for closure of TIF district. We received in our boxes, correct? The resolution. Yes, 3 people still have
I think Kathy emailed it to all of you.
Kathy emailed it as well. What's the intent here? To have us agree to the language, to have a conversation around the language of this?
And if, yes, in the first instance, and if the council wishes, you could have the first reading, and we can coincide the downtown TIF and the Blackbeard TIF for public hearing and adoption, following the same format that I outlined to the council.
Okay. Just so the public is aware, and you should see it in our packets, it's the resolution, and I'm not going to sit here and read it all, the councilors have it, is to close the Black Bear TIF and it includes a financing plan that allows for the finances remaining, which amount to $489,104.57 to be transferred to the general fund. And it would return all the valuation in the TIF that is captured, that is capturing to the tax rolls. So it would actually assist in lowering the tax rate. Really, outside of any comments from the councilors on this, I think, and once we have a public hearing on it, or reading of it, we can then have a conversation of the language. So I would ask, though, that you read the language beforehand, before next meeting.
That would make sense.
Standing committee minutes. Planning board.
Discussion, let's see. First of all, Janice Frozer was appointed vice chairman, taking over for Peter Roy, who resigned because he's moved out of town. And we had residents of Fox Hollow show up and talk about the safety of traveling Grant Road and Fox Hollow, and talked about what we could do to make it safer for them. And there have been talks with Rick, and Rick has been taking some steps, and we're going to be doing a site walk also, the planning board, and, before our next meeting next month.
There was no, and I read the minute, there's no discussion around us taking over Fox Hollow as a town, was there?
I don't believe.
I know, I didn't see it in the minutes, but I was asking if outside.
I saw that someplace.
Okay.
I did see that.
Initially, the planner asked Rick Malasky to provide information relative to whether the town should move forward and adopt the road as a town road. Rick had indicated that at the present time, he has yet to receive as-built on it, and until that's completed, he didn't recommend the town adopting the road, but at some point in time, there's a need, because the only thing the town is performing at the present time is winter maintenance, plowing it, sanding it, salting it. That's it.
Okay. Councilor Levy.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I just thought I would mention that, because I've read some of the documents, and, you know, I think they're recommending that the folks there do the work, and I don't know if that's all been decided yet. So, that said, I went into Pease the other day, and I'm sure other people are familiar with it, but I wasn't. They had the bumps, you know, the speed bumps, but they weren't as significant as what I've normally seen as speed bumps, which is, you know, those big, enormous things that take out your front of your car. They were small, much smaller, and they had rubber product going through them, and when you went over it, you knew you were going over something, but it didn't, you know, feel like you were going to blow out the front of your car if you were going 10 miles fast.
Where's that?
It was, I was on the way to the PDA park, and I was through the park. But anyway, I was just suggesting, I had brought up speed bumps before, but I didn't know those existed. Maybe Rick or someone can just see the longevity. I mean, Pease obviously may not get the traffic of that road, but if these, they certainly were enough to get my attention without, particularly in Fox Hollow, you know, you go around that steep curve, or not steep curve, but that very serpentine curve. And I think if people went over, you know, if I hit this same type of product in my car going around that, I wouldn't be going 30 miles an hour over the speed limit. But it wasn't nearly as, I don't know what the word is, egregious or painful as going over a regular speed bump. And they had ridges in them. Made out of rubber. So I'm just suggesting maybe somebody see if it's feasible. I don't know if it's legal for roads versus a park like that. I just thought I'd bring it up because it's going to be a fraction of the money
Right.
of doing, a full-born cutting down the road.
Thank you. Vice Chair Bentley.
Well, that answers Rick's question about speed bumps, with plows and stuff, then that sounds more something that's movable, removable, that you had it up there, 8 months of the year. It's certainly something worth looking at. But I know Rick had originally had a question, which I agree with, the plows.
Yeah, they plow at Pease, so there must be a way to deal with it. I don't know.
Yep, it's worth looking at.
Thank you. Black Bear Highway Safety, no meeting since our last meeting, and talked to Cal today. I'm not even sure if the next Black Bear meetings can actually occur, based on everything else going on. So, Conservation Commission.
Yeah, we've actually broken down to small subcommittees to start working on our action list. So by next meeting, we'll start everything from trails, mapping, education for the public. So that's what we've done. We have an action list. We've defined or put down our priorities, and we have a top 5 priorities and other things, and we're going at those probably next time we meet.
Excellent. Thank you. The CIP and the Efficiency Committee, Councilor Branch.
CIP, we met a couple of weeks ago, just went over the process for the department heads so that we have a standard form that everyone's going to be passing in this year, as opposed to PD does it this way, DPW does it that way. I believe the deadline for those to be passed in is July 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, the committee will be up and running again and starting to meet with the individual departments and going over their requests. As far as the Efficiency Committee goes, if I may, I would prefer to defer this to Councilor Zink, because he's been playing a major part of this over the last few weeks here, and let him bring everybody up to speed with what's going on.
Okay, thanks. Just to summarize quickly, I don't even know what to call them at this point, but we've had a group of about 12 to 14 citizens that expressed interest in the Efficiency Committee get together to begin to advise the Efficiency Committee as to what they think the appropriate next steps may be. The fact of the matter is that the Efficiency Committee has identified a number of significant opportunities, but doesn't have the resources to solve them. And we've had 2 meetings with this, I'll call them advisory committee. All of this, by the way, is not formalized. This is just community meetings. And I think the folks at those meetings felt very strongly that the responsibility for, at least the local responsibility for looking at efficiencies and cost savings opportunity really lies with the school board and the town council. That we really don't need to go out and establish another committee. So we have a meeting on the 27th, which is next week, that will be televised, and certainly the public is invited to come, which would be a joint meeting between the school board and the town council. The budget committee has been asked to come in and listen as well. And again, along with any folks from the public. I put together a brief agenda today, and it's going to include a brief update of where we are to date. It's going to talk about some of the suggestions that the advisory and efficiency committees have come up with, subject areas. We have asked Clay Mitchell, who is he the current town moderator? To come in and moderate the meeting. And we think that's important because everybody on the school board, town council, budget committee, and advisory committee has to stay at 30,000 feet. We can't start getting into trying to be problem solvers. Where we are right now is try to institutionalize a process where the community comes together in one place and talks about its goals as a community, which we don't currently have. So that's what it's, I am obviously pretty excited about it. I think it's an element that Newmarket and most towns miss. It seems like the school board and the town council tend to go after their biggest bite of the apple, regardless of what's best for the community. So that's going to be on the 27th. Don Jutton, who is from Municipal Resources, is going to propose to the town council and to the school board a plan of action. And we are expecting or hoping that the school board and the town council will accept that plan of action at our meeting and define next steps. So it should be a good time in the old town that night.
Excellent, thank you. Budget Committee, Councillor Levy.
We have not met, and I guess we're going to meet next week. Yeah, and that's the plan, so.
Great. Councillor Zink, the Advisory Heritage Commission.
We have not met, but we've got a scheduled meeting, and I forget when it is. It's our quarterly meeting. It's in July, I think.
Okay. And Councillor Bentley, the Energy Committee.
No meeting. I did want to say,
Yeah.
if it's appropriate here, though, the Budget Committee didn't meet per se, but I want to take a second and thank Chief Sear, gave a tour of the police station that certainly Roseanne was at. It was very informative, an hour and a half long. The council and the Budget Committee, a lot of members from each went, and I wanted to thank him for that. And I think it was eye-opening, and it's the kind of thinking, Roseanne came up with an idea again, instead of all or nothing, how about somewhere in between, some different ideas of doing things different. But I want to thank Chief Sear for his time. It was a well-put-together tour.
Excellent, thank you. Old and new business. Does anyone have old or new business? Matt Angel first. Is this an agenda item?
Well, you said new business.
Yeah, but tends to usually come from the council.
That's fine.
So,
Fine.
all right, thank you.
I have a request for a resolution.
Come on up.
Okay. Again, this is on the accounts receivables. There are a handful of invoices that are past the 3-year statute of limitations. The town's not going to collect on them. I'm hoping that the council will approve writing them off. Okay, and I have a list of them here. If the town council decides that they want to hold off till next meeting, that's fine.
What is this again? Say it one more time.
Basically, these are invoices that are older than 3 years. So their due date was, as an example, there's one here for June 30, 2005. We are never going to collect that money from that person. The newest one is November 30, 2008. We will never collect that from those people. They just linger on our books.
Okay.
I'm just asking for permission to write them off.
Just a quick question.
Yeah, Councilor Levy.
Have we obviously spoken to these folks for the money, gone after it?
Don't know. And the problem is, even if we tried to go after it,
No, I get the statute.
we would not be able to collect it.
It just,
These are just bad receivables.
Councilor Zink.
Just so people at home know,
Yeah.
we're talking about a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivables. The total amount is $3,229. So this is not
It's not big money.
big money.
I know you weren't here during this time frame, but how's this happen?
Sitting on your hands.
Reestablishing systems that prevent that?
You did tonight by going to small claims court and the remainder of the people that are on the list, I'm going to be sending out letters. You know, it's 1, 2, and 3 demand notices, and then coming to town council for permission to go after them in small claims court.
Councilor Zink.
Dare I ask the question, is that a big amount?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question.
Councilor Wright.
Yeah. When you're saying small claims court, is that the norm you do it? I mean, or you wouldn't send it to a collection agency first, or how is it?
You could, but we have the ability to go after this ourselves. You know, a collection agency, they're going to go and take a chunk of the pie.
Yeah. So basically, from now on, we go to small claims court.
That would be nice.
So basically, getting back to our further discussion, whoever we're going to be sending this first time should probably be a person we look into the future.
Yes.
To, you know, because instead of having someone go up every time a learning curve, sort of train someone or get the experience, so it's not a complete, what do you mean I got to go to small claims court?
Yeah.
Great idea, you know?
But the whole intent behind this is just to start the ball rolling and be a little more aggressive in getting these receivables paid.
So,
Go ahead, sorry.
here's where we stand right now. So there's a resolution for us to basically write off $3,200 of uncollectible accounts receivable because they have gone past the statute of limitations. I want to get the temperature of the council. Do you want time to review these and then talk about this next meeting, or do you feel like this is something we can get off our plate?
I get it.
Just have one quick question.
Go ahead, Councilor.
There's really two that are big. One of which was November 12th and of 8, and one was November 30th of 8.
Have either of those entities received, you know, an updated invoice from you, Matt? You know, requesting the money?
No.
I mean, with all due respect, whether it's out of the statute or not, is there any reason that we just wouldn't ask them if they would pay the bill?
We can certainly do that.
I mean, is there any downside?
No.
I mean, you don't really know the history, so you don't.
If you want, I can send out the letter
maybe
tomorrow.
maybe it's a joke, but I'd certainly be sending out a bill.
The only thing that I was trying to accomplish out of this is just get some of the numbers that are off the books that are uncollectible. If you want me to write a letter tomorrow, I will write a letter tomorrow.
Just send them a bill.
And then we can act on this on the next meeting, and I can give you an update as to the results.
Okay.
I mean, what does the rest of the council think? Because we should.
I'm in the same spot. I want Matt doing something else. It's not a snowball's chance in hell.
We have two. Let's just go around the horn. Dan?
I mean, if it just takes a registered letter, send it to these people.
Councilor Branch?
I'm all right with the resolution.
Councilor Carmichael?
I got a question on the, it says, you back up here, engineering services provided by Fairwell Engineering regarding Dunkin' Donuts, see copy invoice attached, there's no attachment?
No. This is what was handed to me.
Oh, okay, so we don't know, I mean, what do we have to do with Fairwell Engineering Services?
Okay, now, this is, I'm going to speak based upon what someone had told me. The town had paid for some engineering services related to the entrance to the Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
In Newfields.
In Newfields.
No, this is when Dunkin' Donuts was looking to come to Newmarket in 2008.
Oh, okay.
This is not the Newfields Dunkin' Donuts. They went
All right.
there when it didn't work out.
Okay.
Hold on, let me go around the horn. So would
Resolution
or write letters to?
Resolution.
The two council levies talking about are November 08, the two most recent, they add up to 2,500 of the 3,200. I would think Matt or someone could do a letter in 5 minutes and you know, send them out, and then the next one will know, yay, nay, you know, and then we can get it off the books following week.
I'm gonna ask a procedural question. Can we vote on this resolution with the understanding that Matt is going to send a letter out to those two? And if they don't come back, he has the authority to write this off
Absolutely.
at that point?
Amend
That,
it.
that way, we understand he's going to send a letter, but then we don't have to have another conversation as a council about $1,400.
Yeah, that's fine. Amend it.
Actually, 20.
Well, 25, yeah, no, 2,500,
Right,
2,500.
$2,500.
I mean, I don't see why it has to be a big letter. I would send him an invoice and say,
Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do it, move on.
So,
Let's vote.
I need a motion on the resolution.
Make a motion to accept Resolution 2011-2012-33 as amended to write off of uncollectible account receivables.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Wright? Aye. Council Levy?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Zink? Aye. Council Conway?
Aye.
Council Bentley? Chairman Lazaro?
Aye, motion passes 7-0. Vice Chair Bentley.
Just in the interest of goodwill, I think there's some confusion on workshops and not workshops, and I know a couple people have told me that, and I know we've said it a few times, which meetings you can have open agendas, but, you know, Dr. Hayes has patiently waited to say something to us, and I would make a motion that we allow him to address us, and I think we need to do a better job now and then of reminding people. You know, we've seen a couple people several times now. Anyway,
Yep.
I think we should owe him the courtesy. I think he would do the same to listen to whatever he has to say.
I certainly agree that we're one community and should be good neighbors, but I was going to let Matt talk first.
Just, I didn't want him to get up and walk away. That's,
I think what he's going to talk about, I have some information.
Okay. Superintendent Hayes. Does any council have an issue with letting Superintendent talk?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just didn't know your protocols and how you proceed with this. But tonight I put a couple memos on your desktops there. The first, and this is why Matt is involved here, the request to receive impact fees. As you know, the town has an impact fee system, and a portion of that money is dedicated towards the schools. And so you have a memo there that says regarding request to receive impact fees. What this is a request to receive $30,000 in impact fee funds, and it would be used to reimburse the district for payments that we made back in February for the purchase of the properties that we talked about at the beginning of the evening here. The purchase and sale agreements, each of them had an amount in there as a security, if you will, that when they signed the purchase and sale agreements, we agreed to pay them a certain amount and put that in escrow, depending upon whether the final warrant article passed. And so that meant that a total of $30,000 was sent out to the three owners. Clearly, we're moving forward to purchase the property. And now what we would like to do, because we think it's a win all the way around, is use the impact fee money to reimburse the district for that portion, that $30,000. And then that then preserves that $30,000 in our let's see, what's the title of it again? The district's expansion of school facilities capital reserve fund. And the reason that it's coming so quickly to you tonight is, first of all, we weren't aware, have not been aware, at least during my time here, of the impact fee system and what it means and how it gets used. So only recently found out about it, found out about the amount of money that is available to the schools now, and knowing that about $3,800 of that will expire on June 23rd. And so that, as you're talking about amounts of money, they're all important. And so for us to come forward tonight, I appreciate the time and be able to say that, but I'm hopeful that in order to preserve at least that $3,800 for this, that if you decide to approve this, there's something you could do this evening.
Matt, do you have anything to add to that?
I just want the council to be made aware that the statement that's being handed out to all the departments now is a bank statement from Citizens Bank that lists out each and every single parcel, how much is in that parcel, how much interest is against it. And this is the report that's now being sent to the departments. as the superintendent had mentioned earlier, there will be one coming due in 3 days that if there's no action done tonight, I will have to refund it. I'll be coming to the next meeting to ask to refund that particular one.
Questions? I have a question. Well, yeah, go ahead, Councilor.
I'm sorry, but I don't understand the whole thing, but in the future, it would be nice if we didn't get it. I mean, this is like, I don't think this is the way to go about it. I think we should have had it in the packet. There should have been some explanation. No, you know, I'm not, no disrespect to anybody, but I don't even know I don't understand it. So, there you go.
Vice Chair Bentley?
Matt, you just said at the end that if we did not act on it, this would be yet another case of ones that are returned back to...
Yes, every single month, I think until July of next year, I'm going to be asking for a refund of one parcel or another, or more than one parcel. The last request that I came to you were all the ones that came due up to that date. There was no authority to ask for refunds until they lapse.
So the total of what would you be asking? What would be
At the next meeting, I would ask to refund, it's almost $3,800.
I guess I'm confused. I thought Dr. Hayes was asking for 30.
Okay, Dr. Hayes is asking to withdraw $30,000 from the impact fee fund to pay for the deposit of the land acquisition, okay?
Okay,
so basically, that obligates the funds from the impact fees, okay? And it stops a potential refund issue. Okay, so instead of refunding it 3 days from now, that money then would be sent over to the school department.
But we can do just the 38 at least for tonight, so we don't give it away, right?
You could.
So on this hand, we do nothing, and in 5 days, that 3,800 goes back to developers.
Yes.
Or we give it to our sister.
No, it goes back to the homeowner.
Homeowners, or we give it to our sister, the school.
Yes. And then the next one that comes due after that is July 17th, which is just after the next town council meeting.
Councilor Zink.
Yeah, I would approve the 3,800. I wouldn't at this
Okay.
point go beyond that until.
Can I give an exact amount if you're going to approve that?
Sure.
Okay, it's $3,793.29.
$93, $92?
$3,793.29.
Councilor Wright.
I got a quick question. Now, the impact fee, it goes to the school now, what exactly can that impact fee be used for? Infrastructure or
It can only be used to expand facilities.
Okay.
Okay, in this particular case, they're looking to expand their,
Yeah, because I know in the past there's been some confusion how it was spent. Yeah.
For example, the work we did on the ceilings and the repairs and renovations, it can't be used for that. It's only to expand, because it's the impact of people moving into town that causes need for more space and so forth.
let me add to that, where if it frees up funds on their side, then they have more funds to address other building needs, such as repairing the buildings. So,
Since the other councilors have talked that have their lights on, so we monitor the school's impact fees and manage them?
yes.
What a great example of the town and school finance position cooperating and working as one.
Better late than never.
Unfortunately, it comes at a time when we're now under some sort of artificial gun. Because I say artificial because it was created through our lack of management of the impact fees up to this point. So, as a community, not as a town or a school. How much is in the school impact fees right now?
In the account, there's $198,000. However, $62,562 is available for expanding school capacity. That will go down in 3 days. No, actually, if you guys do your vote tonight,
Well, I'll let the other councilors talk, but
you have.
I don't feel like we should be rushed into,
Yep.
you know what? This homeowner paid their impact fees, and just because we didn't have our stuff together and we're at $3,700, it's not wiping out the entire impact fee so that there's not enough to complete the $30,000 here. It's just, I just don't think we should be rushing to take that money. That's just me. Councilor Levy, then Vice Chair Bentley.
Can we just get a document showing all the impact fees that are going to be coming due through the end of the year, so this doesn't just come at us like this?
Do you want a copy of this right now, or do you want
Oh,
this
no,
copy?
I don't,
No, I can
I'm
give
not
this.
trying to be, I'm just,
No.
this is very, yeah, I mean, if you have a copy for everybody, it'd be,
No, that's the only copy I have.
well, why don't you just put it in our packet next time, and so everybody has a copy of it, so we all know what's coming down the pike?
I agree. Councilor LaBranch.
I don't need that.
I have to say that I'm not going to support this, and I'm going to give the reason why, because generally when I don't support something, I will say why. There have been several residents that have approached me about this being on the agenda this week, to which I told them, no, it's not on the agenda. So they refrained from coming down for discussion on this. I do not believe that the impact fees are designated as a bank account to pay for something that you've already done. So I can't support this under those circumstances. My apologies.
Vice Chair Bentley.
I was gonna make a motion to do this, if everyone's done talking.
If you want to make a motion.
Yep. I'm not gonna word it, but I'll make a motion to take $3,793.29 of impact fees and send them to the school.
There's a motion, is there a
I'll
second?
second at once.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion.
Please vote.
Just one last, just for clarification, so this money is coming from the someone who impacted a homeowner, or just for clarification?
Okay, in this particular case, back in 2006, a developer paid an impact fee for building a new home in the town.
Okay.
And the funds are set aside to increase the capacity because they are impacting those facilities.
Okay, I get that, then that's okay with me, I can, so this isn't coming out of some other fund, or?
No.
It's the developer that we get the money back, or the
I haven't seen it.
homeowner gets the money back?
Oh, the homeowner gets the money back. Whoever, I have the town ordinance right here, and in the town's ordinance, it says the owner of record, okay? So in essence, the current homeowner would have a windfall of $3,700, $3,800.
And they were apprised of the impact fee when they bought, they knew this was there, and they?
No,
Well, they put
actually,
the money.
until the time the impact fee lapses, they're not eligible to
Was the
receive
money
it.
put aside, man?
It's in a bank account.
Okay, so they, okay.
Any more discussion?
Move to vote.
All right, I just want to say one last thing. I agree with Councilor LaBranch that, and Councilor Levy alluded to it earlier, having something on our table before a meeting, when we're about to jump into a meeting, is not the way to handle information dissemination, because we have no ability to process it until we're sitting here. So, thank you. With that, the vote.
Council Wright.
Nay.
Council Levy.
Aye.
Council LaBranch.
Nay.
Council Zink.
Aye.
Council Carmichael.
Aye.
Council Bentley.
Aye.
Chairman Nazaro.
Nay. Motion passes 4-3. Superintendent Hayes, you had, I'm sorry. No, it passes 4-3.
I think
It was 4. Can't count.
You have something else to talk to us about?
Second set of materials, and I'll be very brief with that. It doesn't require any action this evening, but I just wanted to explain to those of you that may be new to this. The cable contract that we have with Comcast, that I believe began in 2010, calls for $10,000 a year annually to be provided for the development of a second cable, local cable TV channel for educational purposes. And so we didn't seek that money, and the district did not seek that money in 2010. Then in 2011, they sought that money to begin down the road to develop such a channel. And I think everybody was in agreement that we weren't at a place in 2011 to create a second channel, and we're still not there. But we've had a very successful year. With that $20,000 plus some additional funding from the town, we were able to purchase a significant amount of equipment that gave us basically a mobile studio, multiple cameras, tripods. We can take them anywhere and make productions for any event, both for the town and for the schools. Part of our game plan was to involve students in that, to train them, to develop skills with them so that they become part of a production team. And we've done that. So in the second page of my memo, you've got a summary report that Chris Williams provided of all that was done this year. And frankly, I think it exceeded expectations from my perspective. So we're well on our way, I think, to heading towards an educational channel. I think another year of success, or building on this success, we believe in another year after that, we'd be able to offer a course at the high school. It's be a very interesting course that we think, again, builds a cadre of students that allow us to have a production team, so that then after that we get to the point where hopefully there are enough events being produced that becomes part of the, enough to justify a second channel. But in any case, in order to continue to build on that success, there's a request here to receive the $10,000 for 2012, and you see there's about an $8,500 request there for equipment that will enable us to do more things, and we use the other $1,500 for things like maintenance and other supplies that come along during the year. So it's there for your consideration, and I'm happy to come back at some other time when you want to take it up.
Councilor LaBranch.
I'm probably going to ask Mr. Winowski this question because he was here. This $10,000 per year, is that part of the $70,000 signing agreement that we had with Comcast?
That's not part of the signing agreement. That was for the INET.
For the INET that was never completed, but it was part of the agreement that there would be $10,000 per year for 7 years, designated for a second station.
That is correct.
And that agreement was signed in what year, do you recall?
2009.
2009.
Yeah. So we have received a total of $30,000 so far. We had, excuse me, the first year we received the 10 on the signing. We received 10,000 in 2011 and another $10,000 this year.
Okay, so, but this is funds that will theoretically run out in another 4 years.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Levy.
Not to be redundant, but can we in the future just have this on the agenda?
Yeah,
Yep.
totally agree.
Okay, thank
It
you.
was my understanding it was going to be on the agenda, so I
Oh,
apologize.
okay, I'm
That's
sorry.
everything that
I
was-
just,
I'd been
It was
told.
part of the email we received at 4 o'clock, adding.
oh, I apologize that I didn't realize we were doing this today.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Any other old or new business?
Just, I got one.
Councilor Levy.
It's a question, I don't know if it's old or new, but when our, and just in the spirit of not having anything like last year happen, what is the timeline from the state when we get our paperwork in for when the tax rate is set?
So as we discussed last meeting.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that
August
up.
30th or September 1st is when the MS4 is due. I'm sorry, MS1 is due. And when do we get, that it'll be October that we get the MS4 back as a tax rate on it?
Well, what happens after that is submitted, the State Board of Education needs to certify different amounts relative to the state education tax. And then at that point in time, depending on the way the DRA works it, is based upon a community's ability to get all their information in, both school and town and the county. They're put on a priority list and they get them at ASAP, or if you're at the end of the list, it could be sometime in December.
Okay, so theoretically, if we get these TIFs dealt with and everything else, and we have a surplus this year, we're gonna have that's gonna go toward that formula that they're gonna make a determination as to what.
No, any surplus that the town has that may be available, it's the council to say how much they want to utilize to reduce taxes.
We would vote on that.
That is
No, I get that, but that would fall into the fund balance, I'm assuming. That's any surplus, correct?
That is correct.
And
Go ahead.
all I was getting at is, and I'm just using round numbers, the 482 in the downtown TIF, the 200 that was voted in, the 489 from Black Bear, and whatever we have for surplus, that's all gonna go toward the town's revenues? Is that fairly accurate?
It would increase the unreserved fund balance.
That's what
Your
I'm-
logic is correct.
Thank you.
And our unreserved, we don't have to get into this right now, but our unreserved fund balance is going to be close to, or just over the 16% required by our ordinance.
It's, the last time I looked, using the worst-case scenarios for revenues and expenditures for May and June, we would be just under the town's fund balance policy.
Worst-case scenario.
Worst-case scenario. So if the departments come back better than my worst-case scenario, we may have just a little bit of money to help reduce the tax rate.
Excellent.
Yep, just,
Yep, Council Wright.
you said the worst, what's the best case?
Just stop spending.
Well, it ends in 2 weeks.
That's going to give false hopes, potentially. Is that it?
Yeah.
Roseanne, we can't go back and forth. I know. I've been very, understand.
It does seem very thin, though. It doesn't.
We can have a presentation next meeting on the. Any other old or new business? I do have one piece of new business, and I hate to end the meeting on a negative note, but there have been multiple individuals in town that have had levels of information of things that have gone on during non-public sessions, to the point that I can no longer just assume it is random how this information is getting out. So I would ask every counselor to redouble their efforts to not share non-public information with anybody. They're sealed minutes. It's our obligation to the community to maintain those minutes as required by RSA and not to share that information. And I will be the first to say, if I find out anyone has been sharing non-public information, or if anyone thinks it's me, or finds out it's been me, that the full weight of the charter and anything else needs to be brought against that individual. I will not have non-public information being shared throughout the community. It is not the right answer, period. With that, item 11 is approval of non-public minutes. May 21st interview, June 6th, 1 and 2. They were in our boxes this week. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to accept minutes
Which ones?
for debate,
The May 21st?
May 21st minutes.
Second. Motion to accept the May 21st non-public minutes. Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those, Mr. Administrator, vote.
Council Wright?
Aye.
Council Levy?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Zink? Aye. Council Carmichael? Aye. Council Bentley? Chairman Nazaro?
Aye, motion passes 7-0. Entertain a motion on the June 6, 2012, number 1.
Make a motion to accept the June 6, 2012, number 1 and 2.
Motion, is there a second? Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Council Wright? Aye. Council Levy? Aye. Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Zink? Aye. Council Carmichael?
Aye.
Council Bentley?
Councilor Bentley? Vice Chair Bentley?
Nazaro?
Aye, motion passes 7-0. That's for the June 6, 1 and 2, according to the motion. The next meeting will be, it says July 11th, which is our next only council meeting, which is a business meeting. As discussed earlier tonight, we have a non-public at 6 o'clock on the 27th of June, and we will have the Efficiency Committee joint meeting with the school board at 7 o'clock in the auditorium on the 27th of June. Anything else?
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn, second. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much, councilors.